Listen all day, every day on your favorite streaming platform. The clean, fresh sound. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right. All right. Yes. Go ahead.
Flow is going green from October 1st. Enjoy the privacy and convenience of e-billing. No more no more possibility of bills getting lost or delivered to the wrong address. Less time wasted collecting bills. No more missing or making late payments due to untimely and uncontrolled delivery of your bills. So just sign up for e-billing today and join the thousands of customers experiencing the convenience and privacy of e-billing, like SMS payment notifications and click and pay payment options. To ensure your personal contact information is up to date, visit any Flow store, contact customer care at any time at 1-800-804-2994 or visit discoverflow.co. And Lanes has a 45% independence clearance sale from Monday, October the 14th to Saturday, October 26th. 45% discount on clearance items, 20% discount on other store items, Lanes Hardware Store and at Lanes Department Stores. Terms and conditions apply.
I just had a chuckle with something there. I wonder when we get to like 75 years. If stores would offer 75% discount. Imagine when you get to 100% discount.
Everything must go.
All right. So this is Dianna and Roleza back with our Activated Mornings program for today. And we are into another commentary segment on today's program. All right. So we are looking at the topic. So live your life.
Hey, instead you worrying about crime just live your life. Hey.
All right. So the ACP says, so live your life. There is no need to panic. All right. So we're going to get into that, and then you tell me your thoughts and opinions, or we will share our thoughts or opinions on this particular topic. All right. So reading from the Searchlight newspaper, so homicides being committed in SVG should not deter people from going out and living their lives as they should, or stop persons from going where they want. So far this year in SVG, there have been 39 homicides. Are you okay?
I'm trying to figure that out.
All right. So far for the year, this year, there have been 39 homicides, 36 of which investigators have classified as murders. Including those homicides are 2 police-related shootings. All right. So ACP with responsibility for fighting crime in SVG, Trevor Buja-Bailey, stressed that the RSVGPF is reassuring the public that there is no need for panic. I say boldly that the RSVGPF, the organization charged with the responsibility for security and detection of crime, are your friends. There is no need for us to panic. There is no need for us to not go out and live our lives as we should, go places we want to. All right. Bailey also said that when he speaks like this, it's not him putting a coat over an old piece of wood and making it look brand new, but him trying to explain the nature of homicides being committed here. So he goes on to say that some of these persons had a history with the police or history of being involved in criminal activity. All right. Just scrolling through quickly. So he said that the history is showing that the lifespan associated with the lifestyles is short, and there is no practical benefit for being a criminal or being involved in criminality. You are exposing yourself to harm and death, exposing your family to unnecessary suffering, and causing children to grow up without the nucleus of the entire family, the officer pointed out. There is so much disadvantage in being a violent person, in being a member of a gang, in being armed with an unlicensed firearm and ammunition. All right. Says there's no practical benefit from being with these things. while adding that the criminal may enjoy a moment of pleasure, but in the twinkling of an eye, that disappears and a family is left to grieve. All right. So I did not read the full article. You can read the full article on the Searchlight newspaper, Facebook page. All right. So ACP is saying, live your life.
Don't panic.
There is no need for us to panic. What are your thoughts, Dianna, on this?
I agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we are seeing the rise in crime, I also, just as he mentioned, I do believe that many of these they're not just random acts of killing where you're just going, as he said, you're not just going to be walking and some stribble it. Well, depending on walking, but just gonna be walking and somebody just walk up to you and shoot you, or just walk up to you and stab you just like that for nothing at all. Usually when they do these things, it's some gang they were in and they're taking some revenge, whether it's something that recently happened or something from long ago, or it is that they had a disagreement like we're seeing. And boy, we talk about conflict resolution, but we're seeing a lot of those where people get into an argument and is death. They kill each other. So I don't feel like it's a case where you have to be scared to go out. Apart from the regular things, anywhere you try to make sure that you're safe when you're going out at night, especially if you're a female. Apart from those, regular things, I don't think it's a situation where we have to be scared. Boy, afraid for go out, afraid for go in town, afraid for go here. As he said, I do agree with him.
Okay. Yeah. To a greater extent, I agree with him. Although I would say that people need to be a bit more guarded, right? On your guard. And I'm drawing reference to the person who was killed in their home. Well, I guess it was a foiled robbery, and the person was shot instead. So that homeowner, so I'm thinking of that situation. And I'm even thinking of the more recent situation where the persons were liming is where Peruvian Vale.
Oh yes.
Where they were just out liming and persons came up with firearms and pointed to them, and maybe it seemed as though it was supposed to be a robbery or an attempted robbery. So I do think that while it is that many of us may not necessarily become we are not, how to phrase it? We would not be, random acts of violence would not necessarily happen here. I do think that persons do need to be a bit more on their guard, because things can just happen, because we never know who has their eye on us, right? As Dianna mentioned, for ladies, we do have to be careful when we go, or even when we stay in.
Yes.
Right? Even when we decide to stay in, like, how is your home situation in terms of your what is your home situation like in terms of your home security? Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're good. Oh, we're good. And you?
I just showed you, man.
I realize, but as the direct call, so yeah.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't know what I'm calling from, because, as you guys know, I'm fornicator. I just picked up a phone and hit a number. I don't know if it's a WhatsApp call or a direct call or what.
It's a direct call.
Oh, so this cost me money.
It's a cost you.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anyway. My wife got to pay the bill.
Joshua.
You guys actually have a new listener this morning. I'm not going to call her name. We go back a long, long way. Last night I messaged and she asked, "Where happened? You disappear?" But she's the one that disappeared. She lives in a place where there's a lot. I mean, I never see more pile of a mango in my life. Never, ever. And I think the place is named Paulover. I don't know if that's the reason why they call it that. But she's a brand new listener. I'm not going to call her name. I just want to give a shout out to her. A special shout out to Anita and Anne and everybody. And before I go off, I want to say something. There are 4 types of people living in the world today. I want you to take note of this. They're the movers. These are people who make things happen. And they're the ones who prevent things from happening. They're the ones who just watch things happen. And when something happens, they're the ones who ask, what the hell happened? Something happened? 4 types of persons in the world. Each of us have to choose which category we fall into. So, guys, have a wonderful day. And I'm fighting my hardest. Pray for me, please. Pray for me because I need to rid myself of this bad habit, fornicating. It's costing me money.
All right.
Hey, love you, God. And Dave, hey, Dave, look, man, I love you too, although you never mention my name, man. You okay. Have a blessed day.
All right. Thanks, Joshua. And
by the way, my wife is listening, so be careful what you guys say, right?
You're talking to yourself.
Well,
that advice is for Joshua. Okay, then, no comments. Good.
One of these days, I might persuade her to say something, but then whatever she says might get me in trouble. So that would be entirely up to her.
All right.
All right,
you guys have a great day.
You as well. Thanks. All right. So good morning, special good morning to Joshua's friend who is a new listener to our program. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. All right. So on the topic that we were speaking of, so yes, while it is, I don't necessarily think that we are at a stage of panicking. As I mentioned before, I think that we should be a bit more guarded, right? We cannot take things for granted. Even when you are at home, you have to think about your own security measures and what it is that you have in place. We can't think that, and again, I know persons would romanticize the past. They would say things like, before we could have walked and leave we door open, or we could have tell a neighbor to check this or check that and that sort of thing, right? We have to recognize that we are living in different times, and it's for us to adopt and to change with the times as well. All right. So what it is, I'm not sure if I'm happy that it's coming from an officer saying that we don't need to panic, but I can understand why he said it. But I suppose for me, I would probably want to hear a bit more in terms of what is actually being done to curtail things from happening, right? But I do agree that we are not necessarily in the stage of panicking as such, where we hear as we would hear in other different Caribbean countries or even internationally. But I think we do need to be guarded.
Yeah.
Right? We do need to be a bit more guarded. And, it's even if let's say you're lineman on the block. Yeah. All persons lineman on the block need to sort of be on the lookout, right? Be on the lookout and be on the alert for if there's an instance of a vehicle that just roll up and start to slow down, right? You have to be on the lookout and just try to safeguard or secure your premises, or just be that lookout for your surrounding areas, right? But yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Somebody was commenting, but there are cases where you can look like someone and can be harmed. I don't know, but
cases that there are cases where you can look like someone and can be harmed. Okay, explain what that means, because I'm not quite following that.
To say if you're somewhere and somebody take you for, maybe I went after Roleza and I see somebody and they look like Roleza and I do what I'm supposed to do, but it turns out it's not Roleza.
Oh,
I'm guessing that's what they mean.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the words. Those are the words coming from ACP Bailey. And I think coming out of it, what it is that I appreciated coming down at the end of it was the message more to the criminals, right? Or those with criminal intent,
I did not look at that side.
The whole badmanism, you wanting to be a tough guy, act like a tough guy. It's to what end? There are times when I look at persons who are like these documentaries that I will look at and see persons involved in criminal activity, and then they get caught and they get jailed. And to know that you are going to, let's say, be spending the rest of your life in prison. There are times when I would like to have that conversation, ask them, was it worth it? Personally, I wanted to ask Vybz Kartel that question when he was in prison. Was it worth it? And it is this whole thing of wanting to be, the bad John out there, or wanting to have that street cred or this status.
Yes.
And why, you involved in criminal activity and you are shot. Your child is left there without a father. They grew up with this longing for a father figure. And because the father figure isn't present, let's say they grew up with a little bit of hatred or anger, it's just continuing generation into generation unless somebody decides to break that particular cycle. But is it worth it? Is it worth you walking in town and constantly looking over your shoulder? You go to an event, you can't even free up and enjoy yourself. You have to be surrounded
Exactly.
you had to be surrounded by people who are going to be there to protect you. Is it really and truly worth it? So I don't know. Maybe one day we could have a reformed criminal on the program, just to get their opinion on or their thoughts or their experience on these type of things. But I personally don't ever think that it's worth it. Right. In the end, I personally don't think. And people also need to stop and think before they act. Yes, I know we head does get hot sometimes. All of us go through a moment of getting a hot head, right? But you have to stop and think the consequences of my action. Do I really want to engage in whatever it is, right? There was the video of the person who has been arrested or charged with the stabbing that happened over the weekend in Barley. And the video of him being in the transport, in the pan of the vehicle, and many persons were commenting, look at how his face is, in terms of he must be regretting his actions. Now, I don't know if that was really the look, but persons interpreted his look as such. So, you really have to stop and think, like, you might not even want to share your room at home with somebody. Now you're going to prison and have to share a cell with multiple men who you don't even know, right? So we have to stop and think before we react, all right? We have to stop and think. And again, maybe it is conflict resolution skills are needed in schools. Yes, the police might go in and they might have conversations, etc., but it has to be something that is taught, right, or reinforced. In the school setting, have scenarios or let them play out different situations where you might get upset as a child, right? Somebody might take your pencil or whatever, little things that children will complain about. Have them engage in scenarios where different things may cause them to react violently, so at least from the school settings, and it has to be something that's reinforced. It can't just be a one-off activity, reinforced occasionally so that it could sink in,
And at home. And the parents will definitely need to start or to continue this at home, because a lot of the times the children that are violent, or if somebody take a pencil and you say, boy, I will stab you up and that, because they do say those things. Sometimes it's because they have people at home telling them those things. They have an uncle or a brother, or is the daddy they see who is violent, or they see or they hear them telling people these things, or they say it in the home, boy, anybody do anything in school and a boy don't take nobody lash, do this, do that, or come for me, let me deal with them, things like that. So in cases like those, no matter how much the teachers preaching in school resolve your conflict, listen, they will answer you when you ask him, so if somebody hits you, what should you do? Miss, we should make a complaint. They will tell you, the very child who now make no complaint, they're telling you what they're supposed to do, right? So homes will need to help out as well.
Sure.
With that, yeah.
All right, so we are going to end this segment at this time and be back in a little bit with more commentary on today's Activated Morning program.